to you out there, and welcome to Friday's edition of Journalist Hangout. I am Kemi Kolade-Otitoju. Today on the Hangout, President Buhari meets with CBN governor over forex crisis, and Cardinal Okogie raises alarm over insecurity in Nigeria. We also have this one: court jails Borno local government officials for stealing IDP's food items. Babajide, Kolade-Otitoju, Bola Olajuwon and Gani Kayode Balogun will all be hanging out with me. Journalist Hangout starts now. So for a dwindling economy, a meeting of the president with the governor of the Apex Bank isn't a bad one. That point was justified when on Thursday, President Muhammadu Buhari and the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, met minds at the presidential villa in Abuja. Their meeting couldn't have been about anything short of the state of the nation's economy, in line with the continued instability in the foreign exchange market. So that's exactly what Emefiele confirmed to the media following his outing with the president. Here comes the good news. The CBN governor described the country's economy as looking good, with a rise in crude oil prices oscillating between $50 to $55 and even as much as $56 per barrel.
Basically, when you talk about secret, there is no secret. It's about the fact that at this time we've seen production of crude. Increasing export of crude has increased, so to that extent, the fact that we've seen also crude prices oscillating between 50 to 55 to 56, it has helped our revenue position and had also provided some ammunition for central bank to defend the currency. Given what we have right now, the fact that revenues are looking good, right? The state of the economy is good, and I believe that we are going to pull out of the problem in due course.
So let's turn to the panel right now. I begin with Bola. What do you make of that meeting? That will be the third top government official that President Buhari will be meeting with. But to the nitty-gritty now of that meeting, Emefiele is coming out with that the economy is looking good. What's your take?
Well, it's good for Nigerians. It's good for the country. It's also good for the government. It's good for investors. But critically, this is not the first time we are hearing this. We heard about that during the last IMF World Bank meeting. They came out to say that Nigeria will soon get out of recession, which is good. It's also good for the president meeting the governor of Central Bank in view of the fact that Nigerians, have been in a kind of bad feeling about the health of the president. For him to have met with Emefiele is a good thing. Now, coming back to the economy, the issue is this. If we are getting out of the recession, if the economy is looking good, well, the Nigerians on the streets should feel it. Things are bad. The issue is this: not only the fact that things are bad, the private sector, they are actually unnecessarily making use of the problem and the challenge we're having. Fine. I'm feeling with them because of the fact that they have challenges too, power, capital, and things like that. And the issue, of importation. But in as much as that, the Nigerians on the streets, they want the best of the best things. Things are cost. All right, that said, let's turn to Gani now. What do you make of all those figures being splashed around by Emefiele, especially at the time where we're still on an inflation rate of double digits? Yeah. Is that how it adds up to you as an improvement?
No, I think he's trying to project a feel-good factor in the midst of terrible figures. The money for petroleum moving up to 56 is good news, but it's also bad news. Because you remember, this CBN has for the last 6 months tried very hard to fight inflation with money. and they've pumped dollars upon dollars to the market. Yet, the naira continued to evolve between 500 and 320. When the promise they made to us was that by March this year, we'll be back in the 200s. So that is a factor. The second factor, of course, is our ability to trickle down theories into practical elements. Sure. Foodstuffs are still very high. Transportation has not gone down. Spare parts are going up. Things that people are importing at 20 naira just a year ago are now being imported at 250 naira. So when people tell we are double digits, they are even being nice. Our inflation is beyond the roof. And what the government is doing is basically put a spin on the bad situation, which I personally have nothing against. But the reality on the ground is that the economy is not moving, the policies are not working, and Anti-Oloyinbo is not really helping matters.
Babajide, so he's saying a rise in global oil prices is helping Nigeria's course at the moment. He's also attributing this improvement so far now in the rise in exports. On the issue of global oil prices rising, what happened to the call of diversification?
You see, on the issue of diversification, I don't think the gains can come quickly. We must admit that the gains can't come quickly. You can't even achieve your goal of diversifying quickly. So we are still stuck with this monoproduct, with oil. Now the price just lead to a kind of 5-month low now, which is not particularly good news for us. But we have had to benefit tremendously from increased output because the boys in the Niger Delta have stopped bombing. So that also enabled us to export more, because he was talking about improvement in exports. It's still basically petroleum, crude oil that we are exporting. But the boys have not attacked any export terminal in recent times, which will justify our appeal on this table that, look, force will not solve the problem. Some Nigerians who want to behave like macho men and want our president to behave like macho men told us that, look, they should go and bomb the Niger Delta people. But at the time when we flooded the place with soldiers, we didn't achieve anything. In fact, on one spectacular occasion, Nigerian soldiers that were supposed to go and kill the militants, when they were drowning, it was the same militants that they were supposed to kill that helped them, you know, saved them from drowning. So it makes no sense to be sending gunboats to the creeks, because the creeks are noted for not being deep enough. So how does your gunboat move freely in shallow waters? You get the point that I'm making. So now we've achieved increased output because there is peace. The export terminals are not under threat. The production, the flow stations are not being attacked. So now that enables us to earn more. The more we earn forex, the more our foreign reserves will rise. And when that gives us the kind of cushion to be able to defend the naira as they are doing now. I wonder where the naira will have been if at the time when the CBN began to defend the naira, we didn't start doing it. I know that is not the solution, because the solution is export competitiveness. But we have managed to stop the hemorrhaging. Because if it had continued, I think some time ago it was on like 525. If it had continued on that scale, the prediction by Agbakoba that we will start, naira will soon go to 1,000 naira to $1 will have come to pass. So the president has already been briefed by the CBN governor about the success of the initiative to defend the naira, and the fact that we have increased oil production and how it is helping us to earn more, and then use part of what we earn to defend the naira. So basically, that's what Emefiele went there to do.
All right, but let's dig further into this issue of global oil prices rising now. People are getting increasingly confident that perhaps we might even, perhaps we might even go as far as 60, if not beyond. Gentlemen, what do you think? Can we stretch? Can we stretch? And now it has fallen. Oh, all right. But then about the increase in exports now, how would you attribute the CBN's intervention? Now, I mean, what do you think led to the rise in our increase in exports?
And specifically, as he rightly said, he spoke about the issue of, the peace with the militants. They are no longer bombing, our oil platforms. There's peace in Niger Delta. Not only that, you also know that OPEC members agreed on the issue of cutting down in oil production.
For 6 months.
Okay. Also, we should also look at the climate of peace in the international community. If there's crisis, definitely, the oil price will go up. But if there's no crisis, you understand, it's another thing. Not only that, the market is not all that saturated as at now. You understand me? Supposing the market is saturated, what will happen? The price will go down.
Right.
That is.
Right.
We should also look at, other issues, not limited to my own explanation.
All right, Bola, of course the conversation continues now as we dig further into how we can further expand the virility of the naira at this point. More discussions on Journalist Hangout after this break. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us right here on Journalist Hangout. You're watching us on TVC News, of course, as we continue our discussion now with strengthening the naira, as is, of course, the ambition of CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele, who met with President Muhammadu Buhari yesterday, and he affirmed that the economy is looking good. But with all the moves being made now by the CBN Governor, of course, now the question has been asked by many analysts, how can these moves be sustained? How do we further strengthen the naira?
We have to curb our taste for foreign goods. And it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take a while. Look at the revolution in the rice sector. While it has a lot of issues, but you can see a deliberate intervention to provide locally made rice, at least to a level of the populace. Still expensive. Still out of our reach, but they are trying very hard, at least to intervene and make a difference. We are import dependent. Everything we use, we import. And that is automatically a strain on the naira. No matter how many policies we put in place, unless we can curb religiously, that means everybody affected, maybe apart from the military and the essential services, we continue to have this problem.
There's also even another talk of the existing goods and services that we have now that could perhaps compete with the imported products. Where does Nigeria stand at the moment to make us perhaps lean towards our homegrown?
Well, cost is always a factor. But like I said, we are import dependent. People would rather pay...
Even when there are options here?
Yeah. Well, I know a guy who would rather pay 1,000 naira for an imported biscuit than to buy the 15 naira one.
The thing is difficult
it's extremely difficult
for Nigerian-made products to compete against those made abroad. Not just because we have this mindset that anything that is ours can't be as good as anything brought from abroad, but we've not really, some of our manufacturers have not really done well to improve on quality of what they produce. For example, look at rice. There's no way that Nigerian rice produced here can compete in terms of quality, even the cleanness, the way they polish foreign rice. You want to buy, you look at it, you want to buy it. But our own rice, they still remain dirty. You can't be sure that when you buy it, it won't have stones and all that. Because I went to Moji Damiel's village and I bought rice. It looks so dirty, but I just wanted to buy it. I bought it and I had to engage someone to help me pick the rice, you know, and I ended up paying that one 3,000 naira. Just pick the rice, pick the stones in the rice. You see, our rice and is better.
Well, you were picking it.
Yeah,
afterwards.
You see, the thing is, our rice is more nutritious. If you are cooking our rice from like maybe 50 meters, you will be able to perceive the aroma of the rice. But this foreign rice, this foreign rice is actually poison that we are eating, because in some cases they've kept them in the warehouses for more than 10 years. They said what they actually what they use in feed mills, because they have overstayed in the warehouses, is what they send to us here to eat. It's very cheap, because rice in Thailand, for example, is heavily subsidized. We can't compete because nobody can pay that kind of subsidy to our farmers. Then even the output per yield is the reason our farmers cannot sell at a price that is attractive to you and I. So it will remain costly until we can improve the processes of production, and then output per yield can go up. Because it's not really mechanized farming that we are doing. No. It's still largely manual.
Still lack a lot of...
So when we produce so much, naturally the price will come down. But for now, we are not producing so much. I pity our manufacturing companies, because they are doing well. Nigerian-made drugs are very good. I would prefer to buy a Nigerian-made drug than buy drugs made in India, because I know there's plenty of quackery, you know, over there. But at this time, they are battling with inaccessibility of forex, so they can't even produce competitively.
Isn't the government even missing the big picture here? Because that is a grave concern. If the pharmaceutical companies are saying they don't have enough dollars now with which to get raw materials to produce their drugs, we know some areas have been covered. If you need to travel and you need dollars, now you can get them. The CBN is accessing dollars now for but this critical health sector now and other sectors who are still bemoaning dollar scarcity. Bola, what are your thoughts?
See, specifically my thought is this. You see, I'm sorry to say, the Nigerian situation can only be better if we do the right thing at the right time. Let's be realistic. Few weeks ago, about 2 weeks ago, I was in Abuja for a seminar on economy. See, to be realistic, this government, is how to do the best for the economy.
A brief one there. Sam Ali is joining us from Lagos here. Hi, Sam.
Yeah, how are you?
Very well. Carry on, please.
Good evening, every one of you there.
Good evening.
Yes, sir.
Yes, my question is, how is the common man in the street feeling the impact of the so-called pick-up in the economy? Immediately we say what it is. Tomorrow the finance minister will tell us a different story. Where are we? Let's know the true position of things.
All right.
The dollar is not at the rate of the common man. You can right. even if a relation of you send you dollar from overseas, to get it in the bank is a problem. So where are we? What is the position, the true position? Please, you members of the first estate of the ring, I do people with you people. I think you are improving. Please. Thanks.
All right, Sam, that concern will be addressed. Bola,
see, as I was saying, the government table out what is doing, what the government is doing, what the other areas of the economy are doing, and also look at it like they've come up with the templates for easy of doing business. Not only that, the issue of forex for small scale businesses, major business and things like that. But the factor of some people trying, to destabilize government policy. Look at even banks. Like it's on record that, look, government opened a window for SME. What did they do? What they did was that about 16 back, they got almost $300 million without giving it out. Only 8 banks.
Those in need.
Yes, only 8 banks did that. It's quite not only that. Let me just quickly make a point. The issue of about 30 $30 trillion being escaped as a result of importation. Who are the people that is doing all this to the economy? These are the questions.
Nigeria losing a lot of money there, but I would like Gani and Babajide, to address Sam's concerns. You had earlier mentioned the discrepancies between the finance minister's position on the economy and Godwin Emefiele's recent one. But okay, your take, Jide.
You see, the CBN has spent more than 1.5 trillion naira trying to support farming, trying to support agriculture generally. But we still continue to have high cost of food items. There are so many reasons for this. I will give just one example. Now, Nigerian farmers know that if they ship their produce across the border, they will earn more. The currencies of the countries around us are stronger than ours. That's a fact. So it means that if you are a farmer in Yobe State, where I was in Yobe, I was in Borno, and I saw high level of smuggling of produce from Nigeria to Niger Republic. They are not fools. Farmers too want to make money. So if you can sell, for example, maize, Nigerian maize is the best in this part of the world. And those involved in animal scientists, those who have poultry and all that, they are complaining that maize is extremely difficult to find because the farmers are taking it across the border. So that's one. So you now see that despite the efforts of CBN, the price of food items have refused to come down. The CBN governor can wax lyrical about theories and all that. Or they can lie to us through their teeth that recession will be a thing of the past in no time, that the economy is growing. The fact remains that people can't see the signs that we are coming out of recession. Rather, food prices are going up. Ask how much they sell Gary now. It's gone up.
Transportation.
So so nobody will take what you are saying seriously until they can see the concrete signs that that things are improving.
All right, gentlemen, a quick break now, even as we will continue our discussions right now after the break, so to speak. Now, don't forget, we'll still have to treat Cardinal Okoge's raising an alarm over insecurity in Nigeria. This and more after the break. Stay with us. While we drop the issue of the economy for now, let's talk security or insecurity in the country. Now, if insecurity in the country was anything or nothing to be worried about before now, there might be a think twice, as a prominent clergy, Cardinal Olubunmi Okoge, has now added his voice. According to him, insecurity is making Nigeria unworkable. The Catholic Archbishop of Lagos dissected the state of the nation with an unpalatable verdict. I quote now, "Nigeria has broken down, it's not working, and we are not safe." End quote. The list he reeled out is short but worrisome, ranging from the menace of herdsmen, restiveness in the Niger Delta, agitation for the Republic of Biafra, the faulty constitution, as he calls it, and let's not forget corruption and unaccountable leadership. Gani, is he speaking the mind of Nigerians?
He's speaking the mind of those who've been in Nigeria a long time and who knows a different Nigeria. There was a time a few years ago that if they mention a crime, you can localize it. That okay, this will be happening somewhere like A. Now you cannot do that anymore.
Yes.
You cannot say somebody is doing A, it's not localized to an area.
You can say kidnapping is from the east.
Or you can say herdsmen are only seen in the north. It's everywhere now.
Herdsmen are now even deeply involved in kidnapping.
I love it,
kidnapping in the southwest is carried out by herdsmen now.
So you see the problem. So those who know in Nigeria of a different EU will cry out in this manner because things are not working. And of course, the entire blame will go to the constitution that we have. Because, like it happened in Enugu,
say kidnapping is from the east.
Or you can say herdsmen are only seen in the north. It's everywhere now.
Herdsmen are now even deeply involved in kidnapping.
Kidnapping
in the southwest is carried out by headsmen now.
So you see the problem. So those who know in Nigeria of a different EU will cry out in this manner because things are not working. And of course, the entire blame will go to the constitution that we have. Because, like it happened in Enugu, when the sitting governor called the GOC, called the police commissioner, and they kept him waiting for 3 hours to get instructions on what to do, where people are being slaughtered, shows you that insecurity is here to stay. Because the essence of security is timeliness, ability to move quickly and nip it in the bud. So the constitution, like he said, is a major, major problem.
On the issue of corruption, for a government, that is, working assiduously now to nip in corruption in the board, he said less than transparent approach to matters of governance. He also said lawless and less than methodic response to the lawlessness of corruption. He's saying corruption is already lawless, but now the government is even approaching it in a lawless and less than methodic approach.
You see, like many people have been saying it too, that look, if the government wants to fight corruption, it must fight it out, not looking at, party dichotomy or looking at, any sectional interest. And it was so bad that, look, even in the presidency that is fighting corruption, SDF of the government was there, allegedly giving out contracts that in the first instance it shouldn't have even approved. And it is even ridiculous that grass cutting, somebody was awarding contract to the tunes of millions, and to make things bad, IDPs, the people that have been suffering, they are dislocated. Somebody also approving unnecessarily contracts that were not even going to the people. It's terrible.
Bola is understandably angry there, and that discussion will even come up during the course of this program. But the cardinal is also miffed at the display of arrogance by government officials when they have to explain government actions.
It's like they are doing us a favor.
You know what the SGF did when he was invited over
to the panel,
this last scandal? He snubbed them, and they even abused them, suggesting that the Senate was being rascally. No matter what we may say about our Senate, it's not the Senate of our dreams. But on the issue of the SGF, the Senate didn't do anything wrong. If in the exercise of their functions, they feel the need to invite someone who has been accused of corruption, that person should come forward. But the government officials will just snub these fellows. So that was what he was referring to. You see, the last time Cardinal Okoje was this angry was during the military era. He was very outspoken during the military era. Yeah, you even be asking yourself whether he wasn't putting his life at risk because of the way he spoke the truth to the people in government at that time. But if you read the full text of this statement, it is full of anger. God was saying we've been deceiving ourselves for so long that we are one. It's true. You cannot say that we are one as a country. We are still largely divided along ethnic lines. Only very few people treat the matters of Nigeria dispassionately. You want to think, okay, this security man is not from my area. For that reason, you do not approve of him. Bola, we don't come from the same area. Then you don't think that he should benefit. Even the federal character principle, that is a constitutional matter, we continue to abuse with impunity
and defending it unnecessarily.
And so there are so many things. And I think he was also talking about the killings in Southern Kaduna. It amounts to ethnic cleansing. No serious government should allow such killings to go on.
I'm telling you.
People have said so much about the administration of
nothing is being done. Nothing is being done.
Nothing concrete. People have said so much that the Buhari administration has done so much about security and all about. When you look at overall, you look at the overall picture, the bigger picture. Yes, we've done well with Boko Haram, but we've replaced Boko Haram with Fulani herdsmen.
Yes.
The Fulani herdsmen now kill more people than Boko Haram.
And they're everywhere.
So we've replaced a terrorist group. We've allowed another terrorist group to fester while we are crushing one. And so that is the problem, and they are killing people everywhere.
And now let's even look at the government's response. Now, Femi Adesina presidential aide is saying Cardinal Olubunmi Okogie is expressing his personal opinion, and as such he will, well, they have nothing to say in this regard.
What's the other? You see,
the issue is with, all respect for Adesina. Well, I don't think Cardinal Okogie is just expressing his opinion.
All right,
but let's take the opinion of all of us.
All of us.
But let's take Adamu. Adamu, have you been listening? You're joining us from Niger State. Welcome. Let's have your take.
Good evening, journalist Hangout.
Good evening.
Hello.
Yes, we are hearing you.
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. Good evening.
Good evening.
Carry on, please.
Yes, Babajide Nagashekasa.
Yes,
thank you very much. I want to make my contribution based on the two topics. The first one, which is the economic, that is on food production, and secondly, the second topic, which is security.
All right.
So these two topics are moving pari passu. So I will first of all make my comment on the first topic. As Babajide rightly said, there is massive production of food crop in Nigeria that is as of last year. But you come to the market, you come to realize that there are no food. You can't see food to buy. The price of goods and services, most importantly food, is very, very high. And Babajide rightly said, farmers are exporting their product outside Nigeria. That is to show the failure of our border. That is number one. So what the government needs to do, as you rightly said, the money the federal government is giving to the bankers, which farmers are supposed to use, the farmers are not even getting it. The farmers you see that are farming in the rural area, they don't even know they call banks. So these bankers, they keep this money between themselves, share it among the managers, they organize their own business, and that is all. The farmers are not even getting this money. The little farmers who got this money.
All right, Adamu, thanks a lot. Thank you very much for, expressing your opinion. Well,
as I was saying, you understand me, he also represents the majority of people, the silent majority of people being affected by this issue of insecurity in the Middle East. In the Middle Belt, and specifically Benue area and Southern Kaduna. They are Christians. These are his constituency. Not only that, look, we also have Catholics, we have Christians in the East, everywhere. In Ekiti, not only in Ekiti, that area has been affected by, this problem of kidnapping by herdsmen and others. Like the man, I won't think he's expressing his personal opinion. What I think the presidency should do is that, look, these are what we are doing and we want to do more.
Address the problems.
Yeah, that is what I believe they should do, not the issue of expressing. Because, like, if you look at it, is Afenifere expressing, the people in Afenifere, are they expressing their own opinion? Okay, other party, are they expressing the opposition people? Are they? No. See, the government is trying on the issue of security. Because, look at it, we knew what happened in the case of Boko Haram. But this has manifested to another area. Right. And then government should tackle the other area again.
How do you expect to get justice? Hold on. How do you expect people to get justice when the General Secretary of the Nahala Cattle Breeders
even came out
is the current DG of Federal Character Commission? Perception is reality. And if I say Yoruba people are clean everybody, and the first thing I do is to make a Yoruba person the DG, or the one who's supposed to protect other people. They have given my...
But what they will always say is that the people, this is the criminals amongst the Fulani, for example, who are responsible for this act.
But it's also this man, the man who said that anybody that their members are affected, they will retaliate. And he said it on national television. And a few weeks later, he became DG of Federal Character Commission. So that's the answer for you from the government. So anybody asking government to react, government has already reacted. They're giving you answer.
No,
those people are untouchable.
People like Femi Adesina shouldn't even always try to diminish the message.
Yes.
You know, when people talk like this, they have reason to complain about their government. Take the complaint on the chin.
All right,
and find a solution.
Right, gentlemen, we will dig further into this. What can be done now to save the country, as Cardinal Olubunmi Okogie, wants?
Constitution was
After this break, stay with us. You're watching Journalist Hangout. So, Cardinal Okogie says Nigeria is not safe again. Nigeria is not working, but he has a solution. He's asking for a new constitution amongst, other solutions that he feels will help get the country back on its feet again. Babajide, he has picked holes in the current constitution that we have, saying it's not the choice of the people, and it's even serving agencies that were not even created for the people in mind.
Yeah, I think there are so many things are wrong with our constitution. I'm happy even the vice president, the day he spoke on this program, he also expressed his concerns because we talked about restructuring and all that. You can't do any fundamental restructuring now without first doing something about that constitution. And it's extremely dishonest to start the letters of that constitution by saying we the people. As if the consent of you and I, was sought in putting that document together. So there are certain things that need to change. It's a whole lot. They need to look at that constitution again, and Nigerians should actually, even some you can imagine a situation in which states are not permitted to exploit their resources, their God-given resources. They are not permitted to exploit such resources and use the proceeds therefrom to develop their states. So you have bitumen in ample quantities, you have gold in ample quantity, but you cannot you can't exploit them and sell and use to develop your state.
All right, Gani, your final take on this issue.
Yeah, the Olubunmi Cardinal Okogie is correct. Unless we go back to the beginning, it's the Constitution. And retrace our steps and make it right. We are just postponing the evil day, which I think is not far off.
And Bola, what do you think now?
Is devolution of power to the states. Then the issue of empowering, state government.
And sell and use to develop your state.
All right, Gani, your final take on this issue.
Yeah, the Olubunmi Cardinal Okogie is correct. Unless we go back to the beginning, it's the Constitution. And retrace our steps and make it right. We are just postponing the evil day, which I think is not far off.
And Bola, what do you think now?
Is devolution of power to the states. Then the issue of empowering, state governments on the issue of security, and then state police. I think that should go along. And let's be realistic with ourselves. The President National Assembly cannot amend the Constitution. The people there, I'm sorry to say it, they are terrible people. I'm not saying that they don't have they don't have good people, but I don't think they mean well for the country.
But we haven't mentioned the confab report. Is this time now for the government to rethink its position on it?
Yeah, yes, I think what the president said at that time was unfortunate. Those who attended that confab did a fantastic job. You need to look at some of their recommendations. Even the TSA that we are talking about today, that people are praising the government for, it was a recommendation of the confab. So many things. The feeding program that we have now was a recommendation of the confab. That there should be that, especially from primary school,
stage
up to I think DS3, that people should be fed. But you can't dismiss all their efforts as if they achieved nothing. And we had some big traditional rulers involved in that work. And you just treated them like they didn't do anything, and you're insulting them. Babashir even said that, it was an opportunity for them to eat. I mean, it's unfortunate.
We've seen them come out now this week now to clamor that there must be an implementation of that report, the likes of Baba Ghana, of course Jerry Ghana and others. But let's go to the third issue. It's also critical and pains deeply into the marrow when, you know, the only one who is capable of making you stop crying is the one who makes you cry. Well, you might say we're a bit sentimental of this, but that's the situation in the internally displaced persons camp in Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, where the food meant for them were being hijacked by agents who were meant to be trusted custodians. That situation isn't fated to last, though, as the long hand of the law is now dealing a blow on these unscrupulous persons. This, as a high court sitting in the state capital of Borno has now sentenced men to 2 years in prison, and they also get to pay a fine of 2 million each for stealing bags of rice donated to the IDPs. Serves them right, you might say, Bola. They reeled out a host of excuses. So at one time, they said the rice was expired and they wanted to dispose of the rice. So many contradictions, the judge noted. But what do you make of the punishment?
Well, it's okay. But let me tell you, let's be realistic. You understand me? 2 people is nothing to write home about, because many people are involved. You understand me? It's more of a cover. It's a network. If you remember very well on this program, the wife of the president spoke on the issue of, you know, distribution of relief materials to all this IDP. But she even traveled out to promise, to pledge that, look, this thing will be, you know, something will be done on the issue of distribution. Later, less than 2 weeks after, we saw what, you know, happened. And look, to me as a person, other people involved must be dealt with. Then the issue of 2 years. Well, in any case, if we look at it, people will say that in Nigeria, some people are stealing billions. What do they do about them? Some are getting away with it.
That's the law. That's the maximum punishment
they can get.
You know, but what we are saying is that, you see, other people involved
must be fished out.
Yes, must be fished out and dealt with. Not only that, the distribution network, you understand me? Something must be done about it.
All right.
Yeah.
First, we get to hear of sex for food now, scandal in the IDP camps. And now we get to hear now that the malnutrition that had been reported happened to be man-made.
And then the HIV level has risen up again within the camps. Like your intro said, it's really a tragedy of the highest proportion. And it's unfortunately it's happening in a zone that pride itself in being godly. Because for 50 years we've been told that they look out for each other. And you're the first thing. Of course, let me say this quickly. In any war, there will be profiteers. It's standard. Even during the Nigerian Civil War, there were profiteers. If it was that led to the famous Awolowo's quotes, that the food are not getting to the people they are meant for. So they have to stop it. Because it's obvious that people taking the food, the same thing applies here. The food is not getting to the people it is meant for. And there's nothing like 2 years and 2 million that will solve that. There needs to be a holistic approach where everybody's involved. Red Cross, Red Crescent, the media on a regular basis, government agencies. That's what is done everywhere. So that way, things are not only seen to be done, but they can be preferred as a level of compliance. But in Nigeria, it's done like every other government thing, in secret.
We had already talked about the suspended Secretary to the General of the Federation. Reactions have been pouring in on this, likening this to him. The Senate has already called for his prosecution, for him for the government to take it up. But if it does appear that he is prosecuted for all these damning verdicts placed on him by the Senate, now does it translate to a possible higher sentence if 2 officials get 2 years in jail and a fine of millions of naira?
I don't know what is likely to happen to Babashir if eventually is taken to court and all that. I don't know how many years he will get in jail, but I want to see people who commit offenses like this punished. I was really traumatized, if that won't sound too a bit like exaggerating, when I read that the chairman of the local government who actually was the ringleader of this cartel, escaped.
Reports say maybe he's in the army custody for having gotten a Boko Haram fugitive in his house.
Well, they should have brought him to court to be tried along with these people. Even if after that, you take him elsewhere to face another trial. But you should have brought him, let them jail him along with these people.
Yes.
You can't fail to take him before a court of law, and the small fries that worked with him, those ones get 2 years in jail. Then he walks away. After a few years, now we will no longer hear about this guy. Nobody will talk about him again. And the whole thing will have been forgotten.
The pension guy.
So that is it. So there's no reason why that guy should not have been found and then put on trial. So so many things are happening, and the worst form of corruption, in my view, is that that subjects vulnerable people like these IDPs to so much pain. You should even have natural pity for these people. Seeing what they've gone through, they've lost everything they had. Their communities have been set ablaze by Boko Haram, all their belongings destroyed, and then they are in a camp, overcrowded camps, where people at most times are only entitled to 1 meal a day. Because there's really, it's not as if they have so much to eat. And they do not have access to drugs as much as they should have. I will tell you that some of the drugs meant for IDPs often end up in chemists and pharmaceutical shops. We are that bad as a people. Now, food meant for them gets stolen.
We're talking about 180 bags.
This one stole 180 bags.
Of rice. That was not the first.
It's not the first time. More bags than that had been stolen in the past.
Did not even get to the camp.
There was even a particular case of some trailer loads of rice meant for IDPs diverted to Katsina State, and then they were arrested. But we've always said on this program that we will want to see those responsible for traumatizing IDPs in this way put on trial and punished. Remember, soldiers and police, they even exchanged gunshots over rice meant for IDPs. Yes. So there's so much stealing going on in those camps. Some time ago, an official of the Borno State government said, oh, these things have been exaggerated by people who wanted for political reasons. Now that these guys have been put on trial and jailed, so can we say now that some people are playing politics with it? No, it's unfair if the Dangotes of this world will bring out money, buy rice for IDPs, and then some idiots will be stealing the rice meant for them. Do you know what they also do? I've said it on this program before. Even rice meant for IDPs are usually half-cooked. When it is half-cooked, the IDPs, a lot of them will not be able to eat it. So there will be plenty of leftovers. You know what they do? Those camp attendants, they will now go and sell the leftovers to people who have livestock.
Save as livestock feed.
Yes. Firewood meant for them, they also sell. So it's man's inhumanity to man.
Exactly, it can't get more worse. And Bola, you asked for this searchlights to, spread across that. There has to be wider circles. As in, how do you haul off truckloads of rice without the knowledge or the intervention of some agencies? And we've seen Shehu Sani's Senate committee indicting NEMA and a host of other agencies for neglecting the IDPs. Private companies too. Pine itself, that was chaired by Babachir Lawal, has also been indicted. What do you expect to happen now?
What I expect to happen is that, you see, like if we cannot ensure sanity, a semblance of sanity in distribution network should be done. You see, not only that, this issue of esprit de corps, that look, you see a soldier, you see a policeman or two policemen in front of vehicle, and then because you saw them, you are not asking for the paper, you are not going to ask questions, you allow them to pass, you even say, hey, no, it's never done anywhere in the world. You understand me? Not only that, you see the vehicles distributing all this product should be marked. They should be marked.
Let's quickly accommodate Simon now before we end today's package. Simon from Washington, D.C., it's good to have you join us.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Simon Ateba, we understand you. Of course, you're one of us, so let's have your take.
Yeah, my name is Simon Ateba. I'm calling you from Washington, D.C. The first thing I want to say is I really appreciate what you guys are doing there because I'm watching you online, and there are a lot of Nigerians all over the world who are watching you online. And what you do to us is to summarize what's going on in Nigeria, and we really want to appreciate you. And I just want to say something quickly about the security that you guys discussed. And I want to say that it starts with, having a database. And if you don't have a database, because a database is as vital as electricity. Here in the U.S., the moment you come to the state, the first thing is that they have every single information about you. They know at every point in time where you are. And that's where it starts from. If you really want to fight, crime and, try to improve security in Nigeria. But this call is really to appreciate you and say that we outside the country really appreciate you guys are doing.
Thank you,
All right,
People are watching you all
We
over
appreciate
the
you,
place.
Simon.
Indeed. Indeed. Simon, thank you very
The
much.
suggestion
of
is
course,
what
for
we
joining,
thought national
the
ID card
Hangout.
was for. We thought we were
Right.
going to have a national ID card that will solve all problems.
All right,
They use
I'm
it to
afraid,
steal money.
gentlemen, that's where we end Friday's edition. And of course, for the week now, talking about Journalist Hangout. Thanks for keeping us company all through the week. Join us next week for more interesting episodes of the program. And of course, watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11. And you could also go to YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel also, Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. Thanks for watching. I am Kemi Kolade-Otitoju. Bye for now.